Hi guys, a lot of you were really enthusiastic about wanting to know what exactly is an aspect in Vedic astrology and Western astrology, and I mean, what is their importance, how our planets are looking at each other, what is this, whole aspect thing. So today I'm going to show you what exactly is an aspect in astrology. Okay, and I hope this is a really more better and visual way of telling you guys instead of just me speaking, let's go. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the complicated side of aspects. Why people get discouraged of knowing the aspects and what exactly, when they see these aspects in a astrological chart in Western. So this is like your really rough cut of Western astrological chart. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is your Western astrological chart. So this might be Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and then the zodiac will go on so on forth. Now in most charts you will see, if you just even go on Google and say Western astrology chart, you're gonna see all these bunch of lines. Okay, so you're gonna see a lot of these triangles going in the Western astrological chart, like somebody explaining who's looking at what, things like that. Now, just by doing this basic thing, we're telling you what a chart is doing in Vedic astrology. Can you really look at all these zigzag lines and see Saturn is looking at who and what is looking at what? And even if you know how to read this chart, it is really gets messy. Okay, so, and this is just two aspects. Let's say even if I draw an aspect for Sun, so let's say Sun is doing all these things. So if you Google saying Western astrology chart, this is what you're going to see. Okay, these are the complicated drawings you're going to see. Now, there's no way for you to really understand, not even understand, you won't even be enthusiastic about learning this, what the hell, all these lines. You'll get yourself confused, you'll get the client confused, okay? But I'm going to show you the most simplistic way of looking at aspects and what is a planet doing when it's aspecting some house or planet. Okay, now, this is your basic astrology, Vedic astrology chart. Okay, you don't see any of those zigzag lines here. So let me show you what I mean by saying the ascendant, okay, the ascendant, rising, and the first house, and the word east. What do these four things mean? They actually mean the same thing, okay? When somebody says, what is your ascendant in astrology? That means they're pointing to the first house. Okay, this part is the first house. So when they say, what is your rising sign? Same thing. They're pointing to this first box, this first section. And obviously this is your first house in astrology. Now what does it mean by east? The first house is always the eastern side of the sky. So when the sun is rising from the east, okay, or wherever the east is at any given point of the day, that's the first house. Now we're going to go counterclockwise. So this is the first house. Now counterclockwise is this way. So then this is going to be the second house. This is going to be the third house. This is the fourth house, fifth house, sixth house, seventh house, eighth house, ninth house, 10th house, 11th house, and 12th house. So you see, if you just go counterclockwise, so if you want to know in your astrological chart, where's your 12th house in astrology? This is the 12th house. So the one right before the first house is 12th house. Why 12 houses? Because there's only 12 zodiac signs. So if there's 12 zodiac signs, there's only going to be 12 houses. So when you go, so if somebody wants to know, okay, where's the fourth house in Vedic astrology? Fourth house is 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth house. So this is simple, okay? This is really simple astrological chart. You know exactly what is happening. How many houses? 12 houses. And Now, the one complicated part you will see is that what if I took all these things out? Okay, so let me take all these numbers out. But instead of that, let me write this. Let me write 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so now what the hell is going on here? You're going to see, now if I asked you, where's your 4th house? You're going to say, well, here's the 4th house. See, I see the number 4. No, that's not right. This is always still is the first house. This is always the ascendant. These numbers in an astrological chart simply means the signs. Okay, so what is the 4? 4 is the 4th sign of zodiac, which is Cancer. So if you're going counterclockwise from Cancer, what is the next sign? That's number 5. Number 5 is what? It is Leo. So this 5 is just representing this sign Leo. Number 6 is the 6 signs of zodiac: Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. Then back to the first sign, which is the Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. Okay? So now the aspects. So in this chart, in this particular exercise, I'm going to show you the aspect of Saturn. So where is Saturn placed? This is Saturn right there. If you can read that in the blue. That's Saturn. Where is Saturn placed? Saturn placed in the 3rd house. What sign is Saturn placed in? Saturn is placed in the sign of Virgo, because this is number 6 showing. This is your Virgo. So remember, this can be 1 through 12. Okay, so in East, if at 6 a.m. in the eastern hemisphere, in the eastern side of the sky, the Cancer is rising, do you think at 11 o'clock, same sign is going to be rising from the east side? No. Probably by 11 o'clock, you're going to have the Virgo sign rising from the east side. So if you're born at 6 a.m., this is going to be your sign rising sign Cancer. Now if there's another baby born at 10 o'clock, he's probably going to have Leo as his ascendant, or Virgo as his ascendant. I'm not sure exactly, because it's 2.5 hours for each sign. So let's just stick with Cancer. So this is a chart of Cancer. We're looking at the aspect of Saturn. Saturn always looks at the 1st, 3rd, 7th, and 10th house from where it's sitting. Okay, easy? Let me make it even more easy. So this is Saturn. Saturn is looking 3rd house from 1st, 3rd, 7th, and 10th. So Saturn's 1st house is the house that it's sitting in, which is the 3rd house. Okay? And it's looking at what other houses? 3, 7, and 8. So 3, 7, and 8 from itself, not from the 1st house. 3, 7, and 8 from itself, from where it's sitting. So 1st house is the 3rd house that it's looking at. The next house is the 3rd up from itself. So 1, 2, 3. So Saturn is looking at the 5th house. So its 3rd aspect, 1, 2, 3, is the 5th house. Now what else is looking at? Is looking at the 7th aspect. So let's count 7 houses from Saturn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Saturn is also looking at the 9th house. Okay? So you see the sign Pisces here, but still this is the 9th house. Because remember, 1st house counterclockwise, and we come to the sign of Pisces rising in the 9th house, the 9th sector of the sky. Okay? And what about the 10th aspect? Okay? So Saturn is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Saturn is also looking at the 12th house, where Gemini sign is rising, and that's where Moon is sitting. Okay, so see how simple this is. Now let me show you. If you see that Saturn is aspecting the Moon, so if an astrologer tells you, your Saturn is aspecting your Moon, you will know, okay, that Saturn is either looking at the Moon from its 3rd aspect, or I mean, the first aspect. So either moon is sitting with Saturn, if it means the first aspect, because it's looking at the house that it's sitting in. And here, as you see, Jupiter is sitting with Saturn. It's in yellow color. I don't know if you can see it. So Jupiter is getting the Saturn's first aspect. So now, if you hear astrologer says that Saturn in your birth chart, Saturn is aspecting the moon, what does he simply mean? He simply means that your moon is either sitting with the Saturn in the first house from where it's sitting, or moon is sitting either with the Saturn, okay, which is the first aspect. Moon is either sitting third place from the Saturn, which is the third aspect. Moon could be sitting from the seventh from where Saturn is, which is directly across, which is the seventh house aspect. Or moon, like in this chart, it's sitting 10 places away from Saturn, which is the 10th aspect here and towards the 12th house. So this is how planet Saturn looks at other planets. Now, let me give you a little advanced lesson on this. Saturn is about restriction. It's about making you learn some lessons before it releases you from that karma. So now that Saturn is looking at the 5th house, in astrology, 5th houses represents the education of a person. It represents your romantic life, your love life, your children, okay? So when Saturn looks at the 3rd house, what is it doing? It's restricting this person's education, okay? So the 5th house is being restricted. So this person may have very difficulty in either getting a college degree or ever getting even a advanced degree in their life. Saturn is looking at the 9th house aspect. 9th house is about learning, your guru, your long distance journeys. They say it's about fortune, but it's morely about wisdom, fortune, and wisdom. So again, you're learning and your long distance journey. Let's say if you want to go to Europe, it really will not happen that often. You know how some people just travel every year and all that? You probably will travel once every 10 years until you hit the age of 35. That's when Saturn releases you from all these restrictions. Now, 12th house. Saturn is looking at the 12th house. What is it doing in the 12th house? It's giving you interest in mysticism. It's giving you interest in dreams and what is the unknown of things, which is represented by 8th house and 12th house. Now, look what else Saturn is doing. Saturn is looking at the sun on the 3rd house aspect. What does that mean? That means that the sun is also restricting your relationship with your father, because sun represents the father. Okay, so if you can have a bad relationship with your father, Saturn is also looking at the moon. What does moon represent? Moon represents the mother. Okay, so your relationship with the mother is going to be restrained for at least till 35 or 34. There's going to be a lot of constant arguments with the mother. This is how these aspects work. So this is just one example, and I hope it helped.